If you are joining us for the first time, which many people will be, feel free to send me your stories, jokes, anything you want to the WhatsApp account. It is at 07752 973 742. And by hell, that link sounded better in my head. Yeah, so I am here to inform you of what's happening with the coronavirus bullshit in Britain, and here to bring you the rest of the news, what news there actually is on the coronavirus, and hopefully make you all smile. So if there's one thing we need just now, it is a smile. And if I can do that, even if it's by me just monumentally fucking up the process of hosting a podcast, then so be it. Laugh away, laugh at me. I'm happy with that. So, we've got a busy day with the coronavirus news. My notepad is chock a block. So we're going to look at, first things first, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. And I say housekeeping, it's a rather grim term for the daily coronavirus statistics. So, one thing about the daily coronavirus statistics is that they get released sometime in the afternoon. So, like yesterday, I've got the source set. So as soon as as government publishes how many people, publish the coronavirus statistics, I will have them. So later this afternoon, starting this afternoon, as soon as the statistics come out, I will post them to my Twitter timeline, which is at StevieCABZ. So if you want to know the amount of confirmed cases, recovered, and sadly the deaths for coronavirus in the last 24 hours, head over to my timeline and I will give you it. But I will also still be covering them at the start of every show, because the point of journalism is to inform people. And when you're at a time of crisis, you need to be flexible, and you need to turn whatever it is you like covering, whatever news you like showing people, you need to turn yourself into the person that can bring information to the people, because that's what people need just now. That's what I certainly want. I want more information. I'm like Johnny Five. I just love input. So I understand that everyone else is the same, and we all need to know what the hell's happening at such a serious time. And it feels like our government's not really helping as much, so the best we can do is to take the power ourselves, and those of us who can, use what ability we have to give you the information, and that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing anyway. So here is the current coronavirus statistics. Now remember that when we talk about the current confirmed cases, I was reading a bit earlier on today, government have said that so far they have tested just over 90,000 people for coronavirus. Now that is, considering we have a population of 66 million, that is insane. That is so low, it's ridiculous. We have more unemployed people at the moment than we have people tested for coronavirus. That's a pretty sobering fact. And for instance, one statistics I was going to give you, it came out overnight that in the last 24 hours, 477,000 people have claimed universal credit. But we have only tested 93,000 people for coronavirus. There's 4 times more people trying to claim money now than we have actually tested for a deadly disease, which is running rampant through the world. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And I've not even got to the stats yet. So let's look at the stats. So far, we have 8,077 confirmed cases of coronavirus. Now that's out of the 93 odd thousand we've tested. In the next few weeks, government have said they will be testing millions of people. Now, there was a story that came out yesterday, I forget the source, but it said that there was 1.5 million coronavirus tests coming to the UK, and they were going to be in a hospital, I believe, in Sussex. And that means that they'll only be testing people in that area, because London's got over 1 million people in it. That's where the tests are. So they say they're going to test lots more people, but where are these tests going to be? Are they only going to be testing people in London? Will there be tests coming to Scotland? Will there be tests going to the north of England, Northern Ireland? This is the problem at the moment. We're not getting the information, and we are being dicked about. So, on the recovered statistic, 135 people have recovered from coronavirus. That's awesome. That's really cool. Now, of course, with the confirmed cases and the recovered, because the country is simply not testing enough people, it's not tracing where the people have been, who they've got in contact with, the 8,077 and the 135 numbers are, I don't think you can put much stock in those numbers. They are just the amount of people that government have tested. They're not testing NHS staff. They're not testing most people that go to that present at the doctors with the symptoms. It's like, we don't know who these people they're testing. And as I said, 90 odd thousand people is a drop in the ocean. It's fuck all. Now, the only number that we can actually put some stock into, sadly, is the death numbers. 422 people have died since the outbreak started. So I believe that the rise yesterday, it was around 80 people more than before. Now, for the 2 days prior to that, the jump had been about 40 odd people a day. So that was really bad. Obviously, any of us that are wanting this thing to stop, we're hoping that when yesterday's figure came out that it would still be around 40, maybe start going down. But sadly, no, the number hasn't went. It's doubled. So it's a really bad sign. I mean, as I said yesterday with this, and as I say every other day, we really need to kind of give it a few days to see if this is a pattern. Like, for instance, like the jump to about 80, 90 people yesterday in the death column, we need to see if today is another 90 people, or if it's more, then yeah, that's a really sobering and quite a bad sign. So fingers crossed that we start beating it, because we really need to, or the country is going to just be destroyed, totally destroyed. I mean, I fell asleep last night watching quite a scary documentary, and it was interesting because it was a documentary that I found on YouTube, and it was posted there a year ago, without any knowledge that the COVID-19 crisis was going to happen, and it talked about the Spanish flu, and it talked about the mistakes that were made. A big part of the mistakes were made in America, and in the end, what happened is the countries that made the biggest mistakes when dealing with Spanish flu, because that's what it was, which is a type of swine flu apparently, which I did not know that. But the countries that didn't deal with it properly were the countries that ended up with the most shit. Like, America got absolutely ravaged by that. And yesterday, we'll have Donald Trump saying that he's only going to be giving a shit about this until Easter. After Easter, screw it. He wants to deal with something else. He's going to stop the shops being closed from Easter and all sorts of stuff, which will... if Trump does that, I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm laughing because I laugh as like a defense mechanism. If Trump does that, if Trump decides to put everyone back to work at Easter just because he thinks businesses are losing money, he is going to cause a second, like what he is going to unleash in America is just absolutely disturbing. It's like all anyone with any common sense needs to do is research the Spanish flu, research the mistakes that were made during the Spanish flu, and not make those fucking mistakes again. But Trump, is he doing that? Is he fuck? He's going to do the same again, and it's probably going to lead to millions of Americans being very ill, and a majority of them will sadly die, and it'll all be Donald Trump's fault. So that said, lastly, on the spread of COVID-19, on the coronavirus spread topic, news that was published just before I went on air was that Prince Charles has apparently tested positive for COVID-19. Now, Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles, they're up in Aberdeenshire at the moment, at Balmoral, which is kind of worrying because, I mean, I live at the end of the road it takes you to Balmoral, literally. It's about 40 minutes from here. Thankfully, they're in a castle, I'm in a house, I'm a pleb, they won't come near me. Fingers crossed. But yeah, Prince Charles has it. I mean, it's worrying for him. Just Prince Charles he's not a young lad, he's 70. Camilla's got to be getting on a bit as well. She must be around the same age. And of course, you've got all the connections from Prince Charles directly to the Queen, who's nearly 100. You've got Prince Philip, who's died like 8 times. This is not cool. I mean, I'm not the biggest royalist in the world. I've always been raised not to be a royalist, but Jesus Christ, we need to avoid older people catching this. And what is happening? Not only are older people catching it, but they're the family at the top of the country. I mean, what the hell? Like, at the moment, the NHS, there's this big calm on crowds and stuff like that, and people getting together and like mass congregations of people in public. What happens if someone like Prince Charles dies? Like, he's second in line to the throne. What happens if the Queen catches it and dies? What will happen to a royal funeral or a royal anything? Like, that is worrying, because do the nation really think they would be able to bury a monarch or the second in line to the throne without there being some sort of huge public get-together that celebrates the life or death, because there's some morbid people out there, of the monarch in question? I mean, the more you think about that, it's kind of mind-blowing. It's very, very scary. So here's hoping Prince Charles gets better, because out of the royals, he's one of the alright ones. He's Harry's dad. I know I'm not much of a royalist, but hey, that is my view on that. So with that said, let's do a quick bit of housekeeping. If you would like to send me a story, whether it be funny, whether it be a scare story, whether you've got some news of a shitbag employer, you've got an employer that's pulled the dirty on their staff, tell us. You can send me a message via WhatsApp on... If you want to send me a message on WhatsApp, smooth. The number is 07752 973 4742, which you can see down below there, and hopefully it matches what I just said. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I read letters out wrong. What can we do? There's nothing I can really do about that. So, next up on the agenda today. Now, I've already briefly talked about this. I talked about this just a few seconds ago, and it is the amounts of people who have signed up for universal credit. One sip. Now, it has came out overnight that in the last 24 hours, 477,000 people have tried to make a new claim for universal credit. Now, I've got quite a lot of people on Twitter that follow me, and people I follow who have been in this boat and who have been trying, because they've been told that they need to claim universal credit for some warped reason, which we'll get to in a minute. So these people have been trying to claim universal credit. Now, the system that people have got to claim universal credit on is a website. It's a government website, which instantly, I mean, all you need to say is it's a government website, and that should strike terror into anyone who has to use a website, because you just know it's not going to be fit for purpose. And it's been on record for quite a while now that most of the government's websites, especially ones that people have to use and operate to make things happen in their life, are normally quite bad and they're not fit for purpose. And the Universal Credit website falls directly into that category. So, of course, government doesn't have enough people to deal with this, because they've sacked most of the people. They've cut most of the people. That's why the NHS is in such... Like, if this happened 10 years ago, it would have definitely been as scary, but it wouldn't have been that scary for the NHS, because the cuts hadn't happened yet. We hadn't cut all the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals, the equipment. That was still there. Over the last 10 years, though, the NHS has been eroded to the position it's in now. So, I mean, and when you think about that, it just shows you how inept this government is. And the same cuts of people and resources and buildings and computers and the such happen to the DWP, happen to every government department. Except for MPs, of course. If you're an MP, make that money. So, the DWP systems are screwed. We know that. And yesterday we had all these people try to claim universal credit, which I feel they shouldn't be claiming universal credit, period. But that said, they've had to, because they feel they've got no choice. They need to pay rent. They need to eat. And some of them were waiting 8 hours, 10 hours on a website, in a queue on a website. How was that in 2020? How was that remotely cool? I could not believe what I was seeing. Like, literally, people... Like, there was one story I read. I really should write these down because it was quite bad. But, I mean, one of the stories I seen, which was the worst, someone waited... I think it was 4 hours, something like that. It was number 58,000 in a queue. I shit you not, 58,000. He waited in the queue, and then when he got to his turn, something happened, because it's a shitty government website that doesn't work properly, and he got put to the back of the queue and had to wait another 6 hours or something. How in 2020 is that acceptable? How, like, we've got websites like, we've got companies like Amazon, Google. I mean, we've got websites out there that deal with forms millions at a time every day. But the government, the government of the United Kingdom, one of the world's superpowers, can't make a website for people to claim benefit without there being a stupid fucking 8-hour wait in it or whatever. It just blows my mind. Now, I mean, let's look at. I mean, I was going to talk about the percentage of people that actually claimed this yesterday, but let me quickly sidestep into the whole topic of why people are claiming job seekers allowance. So, as we know, a few days ago, Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson unveiled their financial help package. Now, the financial help package is a load of shit. For one, they said that employers would receive between employees would receive between £1,000 and £250,000. So it's like instantly, straight off the bat, just with that alone, it's like, sorry, why are some people getting 1,000 and some people getting 250,000? We're all in exactly the same situation together. Should government not give us all the same fucking thing? And then we've got the screw job, the actual complete burial of half a society, and that is that they're not helping the self-employed. They're not helping people like me who work within the gig economy because there's no other fucking jobs around because the Tories have destroyed the labour market, and they're not helping this. So like casual self-employed gig workers, we're all getting screwed over. Now, I don't know how many workers there are that fall into this category, but there are a lot. And the help that has been sent our way is that we have to claim universal credit. We have to claim an unemployment benefit because the government, like, because of pandemic. It's disgusting. It's like absolutely disgusting. And the real kicker, the bit that makes it really, really horrible is the fact that government will happily give some people in society £2,500 per month. They will give some people that, but not all. Like, sorry, have we not all paid national insurance? I mean, I had a thought about this. I mean, obviously, we all take for granted that we pay national insurance on our wages or whatever, and that it goes to the NHS. But we pay tax and we pay national insurance. Our tax and national insurance all goes towards bits come out towards the NHS. But at a time like this, is this not when the insurance element of what we pay towards the state should come good? Why do we even pay any sort of insurance to the state if they cannot ensure our safety, our health, our freedom? Why? It's something I'm struggling to understand just now. I've paid national insurance for quite a lot of years. I've worked for many years. Why am I not getting... Why are some people less... Why do you want to favour some people over others? That is not fair. It's just not fair in the slightest. I mean, my solution to this whole problem is to either give everyone, every single adult in the country, a universal basic income of around maybe £1,500 a month. Obviously, rent and everything's been paused, so people don't need to worry about that coming out their money. So an amount like £1,500 a month to everyone should be doable. I mean, if you can give £2,500 to the richest people in society, surely you can give £1,500 to everyone. Or you change it from a universal basic income to a household basic income, where you give every household £2,500 per month to live. Even Donald Trump is going with the universal basic income. And that says something, because he's a monumental wanker. That guy is brain dead, but even that brain dead tanned baboon has the mental capacity to realise that, well, unless we give people some sort of financial help, they're going to be screwed. And if they're screwed, they can't spend money in the economy. And if they can't spend money in the economy, everything gets worse. But no. Boris Johnson, Dominic Cummings, Michael Gove, and the rest of the wankstains on that team have decided that they are going to target money to those who are most likely to vote Tory in the future. That's why It's going to the high paid people who get 2,500 a month. That's quite a high wage. That's like a really high wage. And if you look at the people they're helping and the people they're not helping the gig economy people, they're not helping the low paid, they're not helping the self-employed. It's all people who would probably not vote Tory. But they're helping all the people that are in well-paid jobs, management, middle management, all the wankers are getting paid. It's disgusting. And that, I think, that should be seen as one of the worst things that's happened during the coronavirus, other than, of course, the most important thing that's happened, which is our government's absolute failure to stop a coming storm. Like there was people, I was one of them, weeks before we had any sort of lockdown, we were telling people, why are the borders still open? Like, for instance, like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago even, sorry, not even 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, there were still people coming to the UK from Italy, from places in the EU where the pandemic was spreading and catching on really bad. They were coming to the UK and they were just walking off the plane, getting their bags and walking out. There was no tests. There was no quarantines, no tests or nothing. And this is how it's came over. Because our government could have stopped this. Like, our government could have stopped this dead. People were saying, it's like, this is harsh. Close the borders, quarantine anyone that's coming in for 2 weeks. It wouldn't have been, it would have been disruption, but would it have been as disruptive as what we're in now? In a pseudo lockdown. Because let's be fair, we're not in a lockdown at the moment. We are in a pseudo lockdown. There are no laws keeping us in our house, which is disturbing. It's really fucking disturbing. But don't forget that. If the government really wanted to look after people, they would enforce a law on this. They would do something legal. But the problem is, if they do things legally, then it's quite possible that insurance companies have to pay out. And I think that's one of the big problems. And that's always been one of the big problems. Because if Boris had pulled the trigger weeks and weeks ago, there's some insurance companies out there that would have been paying out millions and millions and millions. But of course that never happened because he sat on his fucking thumb. That's that said. That was a rant and a half. Like, that was a complete rant and a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a drink break. I will be back in a few moments. And we are back. Let's get this music down. Where's my camera? Where is my fucking camera? Bob, go away. Where am I? Hey, there I am. I had to get a drink there. I had to get a drink because that last rant, I got a bit off topic there, but meh. In more light-hearted news, as you may have seen yesterday, there is apparently a new virus on the go. It's called Hantavirus. I seen people panicking about this yesterday. People spreading it as if this is the new thing to worry about, as if like we don't have it bad enough. We don't have it bad with coronavirus. Let's not worry about it, right? This hantavirus, or whatever the hell it's called, is not a risk, right? I'm just going to say it very briefly what this is. Hantavirus is a virus that to be blunt, you catch it off of rat shit. If you're in and about rat shit a lot, there's a chance you can catch this. Thankfully, there are no cases of this virus jumping from person to person. It can jump from rat shit to person. How that happens, I frankly don't want to know. But once it's in a person, that person gets very ill and dies. But thankfully, it doesn't spread. So I just wanted to say that because, oh yeah, it's a fucking crazy bit of news, and we've got enough to worry about without worrying about new scary viruses that come from rat shit, because we all love lying and rat shit, and of course that's a big risk to us all. So you are listening to the Lockdown Vaccine Podcast. Finally came up with a good name for it. The Lockdown Vaccine, broadcasting every day. Remember and cover your face. If you have anything you want to tell the show, a story, news, joke, a meme, you can get a meme at the side there, even though they don't seem to be working very well. What have I done? What have I done? Here we go. If you've got a funny picture, oh, they're that side actually. Send it to me. You can WhatsApp the show. The number is down there. It is 07752 973 742. Got it right. Send me it. Go for it. And in the coming days / weeks, I'm going to be doing the ability for people to call in the show. As absolutely risky as that might be, I will do phone-ins, because why not? Like, why the hell not? Would be as well. There's nothing else happening. So yeah, if you've got anything to say, send a message, WhatsApp the show. I'll read your bullshit out in there. Why not? So of course, in the last few days, the wanker list is building. So overnight. Now, of course, the coronavirus wanker list is something we started yesterday. At the moment, my money is on Tim Martin winning this award. I don't think there's anyone that's been a bigger wanker during the coronavirus than Tim Wanker. Of course, Boris Johnson's not included in this, so let's forget about him. But this is just businesses that have done bad by people and who have screwed over their employees. So overnight, one of the big names that I had people telling me was Wren Kitchens. So Wren Kitchens, I have had, I think there was like 50 odd people wanted Wren Kitchens added to the list. So Wren Kitchens, I'm sorry, but you have been added to the list. Do better by your staff. So apparently they just sent staff home. Did the usual. Staff have been sent home. They don't know what's happening. They don't know if they're going to be sacked. But they've been told that they have first dibs of the jobs when they come back. It's like you're wanting to go back to an employer that's fucked you over like that. I don't think so. So I really should have kept this on screen at the moment, but I didn't. So tomorrow we'll have more. But I mean, people who I forgot to add to the list. Now there's one key person who I forgot to add to the list. And that was Richard Branson, because by hell he is a wanker. An absolute wanker. Mike Ashley's also on the list. And someone told me Gower Furniture, but I don't know what they've done yet. Now, and a small addition, a little birdie told me that Brewdog should probably be added as well, because they've sent a load of staff home and they're only getting paid because the government are paying Brewdog. Wanker employers everywhere that are taking this stuff out on their employer. Company, right? The thing with this is, like, Tim Martin and Mike Ashley and Richard Branson all epitomise this view that I've got. And that is that their business, these men who are put on a platform by the people that run our country as the top businessmen in the country, their businesses cannot be that solid, because as soon as something bad's happened, they're cutting staff, they're cutting wages, they're doing everything to not give money out. Whereas you've got companies that people have never heard of, littler companies that treat their staff right, who are telling their staff, look, no one could help this, you can't come to work, take a month off, paid, we'll sort it when we come back. Like, why can't Richard Branson, Mike Ashley, and Tim Martin do that? Do these companies not have the money to afford to look after their staff properly? And if this is the case, why the fuck are they constantly put on a platform as examples of good businesses that do well in business? Because clearly they don't do well in business. Richard Branson was asking for a massive cash bailout to save Virgin Atlantic. Like, fuck off. Why should Richard Branson get a big bailout? The guy's a billionaire. Let him spend his own freaking money on this. Mike Ashley, I don't know how much he's worth, but he did the same. He was trying to keep his stores open, trying to force his staff to work as key workers when, sorry, buying trainers is not an essential fucking pastime. You don't need that. You don't need trainers to survive coronavirus. It's a fact of life. And not only that, you can sell it all online. Your deliveries are still fine. Now, I was going to take Mike Ashley off the list because he changed his mind. He decided to keep the stores closed. But then, in a double change of heart, a bit Mr. Burns like, he decided, well, if I can't fuck the staff over, let's fuck the customers over. And he jacked up the prices on home gym equipment and skipping ropes. So Mike Ashley, you were taken off the list, but you were added back to the list. I need to get a Chris Jericho gif on here permanently. So those three have been absolutely added to the list. So Ren Kitchens is on the Ren Kitchens, Brewdog and the like. They're all teetering around the outside of the list at the moment. It's quite likely that they could be added to the wanker list, but I need more. I need more proof of this wankerness. So as I said, if you've got any stories of asshole employers during the coronavirus, send them to the number down there. Send me a WhatsApp, or you can send me a tweet at StevieCABZ, and we'll talk about them. Let's talk about shitty employers, because I've had to deal with shitty employers all my life. I've got a shitty employer. I mean, I actually thought I left the job, but apparently the job's still open. Although I've got no shifts and I can't work because I'm not an SIA, and there's no events in the. Like, the job I was working with was an event steward, so like any events that happened at Aberdeen's Tekka Arena, which is a huge, massive arena, hold tens of thousands of people, but that's my job, like working an event steward, like part time. I was booked up for every event that was coming up in the near and distant future. It's all gone now, and because of the gig economy style of job it is, I'm not going to get paid for any of this for government. It's so don't worry, people. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. I am in the same boat as many of you. Do not worry about that. And we will get through this together. Last on today's show. Where the fuck is Boris Johnson disappeared to now? As many people will have seen on yesterday's daily Prime Ministerial briefing, which is getting weirder and weirder by the day, because we don't have journalists there. We've got journalists asking pre-recorded video questions, which is just you couldn't get any further from holding government to account if you tried, but it's happening. So on Sunday, Boris Johnson decided that he was going to do a pre-recorded wartime style address to the country, which the more you watch it, the funnier it is. I mean, the subject matter is really disturbing, but the way Boris Johnson speaks in that video is fucking hilarious. Like, there's one bit he's like, "You should say no," and he just hams it up constantly, like Churchill. He ain't. So that was on Sunday. There was no live briefing. There was no scrutiny of what he said. But it was a very important thing that apparently happened after a Cobra meeting, so we can let him slide there. Fast forward to yesterday's press conference, the Monday COVID-19 briefing. Who was it hosted by? Was Boris there? No, Boris was not there. It was hosted by Matt Hancock and one of these health people. Which means we got one of these. The NHS needs your help. We are launching a volunteer service. We need 250,000 people. Can you help the NHS? In that weird, creepy, non-blinky Matt Hancocky way. Which, let me say that, on the NHS volunteer thing that he said yesterday, I am really confused about this, because last week I volunteered to my local NHS via email. What happened was, local journalist for Aberdeen, BBC journalist David Shanks, he posted on his Twitter that local NHS was looking for people. So I chased that up, followed it up, got the email address and contacted them and did my volunteering that way. Now, yesterday, Matt Hancock comes out with this. The NHS is needing 250,000 people. It's like, they've not told us how to apply for this. They've not told us if you've already volunteered, will that count, or do you have to, like, they've not given us, like everything else, they've given us no clarity on what they've said or their instructions. They've just said something. It's like they're taking commands in a shotgun, just shooting it at people and hoping that you get it. It's like, sorry, I don't understand. All you've done is shot a word in my fucking forehead. I don't actually understand what I'm supposed to do with this word. And that's where we're at with the volunteering thing. So I'm hoping there's some clarity comes, because I'm sitting here with my thumb up my ass wanting to help the NHS. I mean, all I can do is drive and stuff like that, but I want to do it. I mean, I seen a news report a couple of days ago that there's a warehouse with boxes and thousands of boxes of PPE that is not going to hospitals. It's like, why can't people like me be given the petrol money to just go to wherever that fucking warehouses are, pick up PPE by the boxes, just cram them into cars and drive them to the hospitals in their area? This is the sort of action we need to take now, because quite frankly, the people that can stop people dying and help us the most are doctors and people in the NHS, but we're also not looking after them. And we get back to the topic in hand. Where the fuck's Boris? So yesterday it was Matt Hancock and his creepy Matt Hancock style of presenting. And of course we had the pre-recorded video questions, which was an absolute joke. And then I read the release for today. So today's briefing, today's Downing Street Prime Ministerial COVID-19 briefing will be hosted by Michael Gove, not by Boris Johnson. So that's 3 days in a row Boris Johnson has managed to avoid standing in public in front of journalists and answering questions. Boris Johnson promised us a daily briefing. Now, I'm happy with him doing one of these video briefings. That's cool. But the fact that he's now avoided it 3 times in a row is disgusting. It took him a whole week, 7 days, for him to stop doing these live briefings. Where the fuck is he? I mean, where is Boris Johnson now? Is he ill? I mean, has Boris Johnson caught the COVID off of Nadine Dorries? Is he ill? Is this something we should maybe know? Should we maybe know that the Prime Minister is ill and down with COVID-19? Or is he just being his normal lazy ass self? Because we know this is Boris Johnson. He's a lazy bastard. Not only is he a lazy bastard, he is inept. I think he's gone in the head. I genuinely think he's a bit fucking meant. He's on the Donald Trump level of stupid. But that said, he's also the Prime Minister. And he has a responsibility to come and tell us what the hell is happening on a daily basis. As I said at the start, we all pay tax. We all pay national insurance. What exactly have we been insured against? Okay, everyone. That's today's podcast. I hope you enjoy it, or I hope it's been informative. Once you've watched it, please get a like and share and all that sort of stuff so we can spread people some facts and maybe get people talking about stuff. Please, if you have any funny stories to share with me you would like to read out on air, send it to me on WhatsApp on the number below, 07752 973 742, and I will fill the show with good messages and goodwill and your funny stories, because let's be frank, we need a laugh. We all need a freaking laugh. Stay safe. Cover your face. Wash your hands. Take it easy, everyone. See you all later.